know what next week is?
Winter meetings.
That is correct.
Yes.
AJ,
True.
are you ready to be super social for winter meetings?
I'm always social, Scott. It's you that have the problem.
You know,
You
I
are
don't get out
social.
much. I don't
You
get
are
out much
social.
in the baseball world. Yeah, but in the baseball world, I don't get out much these days. Oh, nice.
I don't either.
For real. Yes, you do. Here it is, by the way. December 8 to 10, 1 o'clock Eastern. FT live at the winter meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Next week it's in Orlando. I don't remember what the hotel is, but I'm not giving them free advertising anyway. But we'll be live on the scene. AJ, you see people basically every week during the season at the ballparks. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. So I really don't get out much. I mean, we go to events, but I don't
Whose
go
fault
to
is that,
MLB
Scott?
sanctioned events very often.
You can only
Whose
blame
fault
yourself.
is that?
I'm not allowed in
Well-
MLB sanctioned events anymore, so thanks to you. They're like, oh, you're friends with Scott? Nah, you're out.
I mean, technically, same thanks to you.
To me? What did I do?
You do FTU too.
It's actually your fault, AJ. It's
Yeah.
actually all your fault. But I don't think our winter meetings needs to have snow on it. It's in Orlando. Let's put some. If we're gonna have snow, let's have some palm trees. Like, let's make
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's make
Producer
sure
lady, it's not snowing. Wait, is producer lady going to make an appearance at the winter meetings? By the
I
way,
don't think so.
does anyone hear the music playing, or is it just me?
I'm hearing
I hear
music
it.
as well. Oh, is that not from you, AJ? I think that's from where you are.
Everyone likes Journey.
It got like really aggressive. It was very
Bingo!
light, and then the show started, and it sounded like they amped up the music. Right?
I'm gonna have to talk to these people.
Do you have to step aside to have a little chit chat?
I might if it's that loud.
It's loud.
Okay, hold on. I'll be back. I
Okay.
apologize.
Hold
You're
on.
good. You're
Hold
good.
on. Hold on.
Wait, take AJ off. There we go. Okay. So AJ will be right back. Should we start, Kratz?
Yeah,
Are
whatever.
you
He doesn't
feeling
need-
mentally prepared? Okay, yes, let's do it.
He's charging the mound.
Devin Williams to the New York Mets. Now, you played Kratz for David Stearns in Milwaukee, correct? Okay. Well, he didn't call you. He called Devin Williams and said 3 years, like 50-ish. There's all kinds of weird stuff in there with deferrals and bonuses and things, but 3 years, 50-ish. It's ironic, isn't it? Devin Williams shows up with the Yankees last year, gets a lot of hate early on in the season, got better. Actually, his home road splits were drastic in favor of him being much better at home. He said he really loved New York, and you got to believe him now, or maybe the Mets just paid him way more than everyone else. What do you think about the move?
I love that I get to talk about the whole New York not being a thing. The reason, like, it's not the city of New York that makes players bad. It's how you do on the field. Like, it's not the pressure of the spotlight. You could say he's soft or he's not soft. He can't handle you. Like, I want to like disprove that as much as I can. I'll tell you what, this couldn't have been probably more of a slam dunk. What does David Stearns do with pitching? How does he go and get pitching when he was in Milwaukee or in New York? Right or wrong, what does he do? Because he's had a track record. This year it didn't work for starting pitching. But he goes and finds places where, you know what? This guy was undervalued because of this. This guy didn't do this. So let's just dive right into Devin Williams' numbers with the Yankees. Why do you think he struggled? Wow, he was probably tipping. Yeah. So he just picked up a tip while he was in New York. Oh, the American League's tougher. Well, that's not the case. Oh, the NL Central's tough. Wait, no, the NL Central's not that tough. Or the fact that his change-up percentage, which is his best pitch and is clearly one of his best pitches in baseball, was up almost 10% to both lefties and righties. The number, it's not quite 10%, but he started throwing way more of his best pitch, and so teams started to see it. So that could be just a surface level, hey, you know what? Why could this guy do better than what he did? He could outperform what he did last year. Like just his pitch usage. And who saw him? use his pitches correctly and successfully and win the Trevor Hoffman Award? David Stearns.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, sorry, I was listening to Oh Shit. Hold on. Sorry. I've sang with Steve Perry. My bad. Yeah, Devin Williams, good for you, bro. 3 years, $51 million. Wow. Coming off a down year. This is what people expected him to get off coming off a good year. So the biggest question to me is, one, usage like Kratz was talking about, but are they counting on him just having a bad year and he's going to bounce back? And then two, what does this do for Edwin Diaz? I know they've come out and said, oh, we're going to keep Edwin Diaz, and it's not a big deal, but do you really want to have two back-end bullpen guys making over $50 million over a life of a contract? That's a lot for most teams. So the Mets can do it, but happy for Devin. Happy that the Mets believe he just had a down year. Happy for Mets fans. But, I mean, he didn't perform in the Yankees, so going to the Mets, maybe less pressure. I don't know, but happy for you, Devin. $51 million is nice.
AJ, you said this is what he would have gotten had he had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, $17 million a year for.
But I disagree.
Pretty damn. You thought he would got more?
I thought he would have gotten more. I thought he would have been a 5-year. I don't think he would have reached the hater status, because they're linked, because they're both Brewers. But I mean, you're talking about a guy who was one of the most shut down closers during his time in Milwaukee. I'm trying to see here once he became the closer. So it was basically 3 years he was a closer, 22, 23, 24. He had below a 2 ERA, and his highest was a 1.93 ERA, and punching out the world. I get it. He was hurt the year before, but I thought he'd be a 5-year, 80-ish million. Obviously now it's at 17 a year, so that might push it a little bit. But I thought he was that. So I thought this for 3 years for the Mets, if he bounces back to where he was, is a great deal.
Yeah, but what were you thinking? If you just said 5 years, 80, he got a better deal than that.
No. 5 years. I thought his contract would go more than. I mean, just all about the guaranteed amount. I mean, if he gets 80, 85, that's way more than 51. I get it. He gets to go back to free agency in 3 years.
Here's the thing. If this deal was – so he's getting 3 years, 17. So if you had 5 years and 34 more, that's 85. So this is right on target. I mean, 5 years for a reliever is tough to find. Other than Hader, I know Diaz is looking for 5 years and 100 probably, but he's like one of the ultimate closers of all time.
Yep.
Devin Williams coming off a bad year, 3 years, 51 is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, would he have maybe gotten more if he goes out and has a 0, a 1, 2 ERA again? Sure. He might have gotten 3 years 60, but 3 years 51 for me is pretty good. Doesn't have to move either. He can just stay in the same place.
He said he loved taking the train to work. Genuinely, he loved it.
Just switches trains.
Yeah.
I agree.
You do? You love taking the train to work, Kratz?
I hated taking the train as a visiting player when I played there. I hated driving. It's a daily thing. I loved getting on the train, and I forget exactly which train goes to Yonkers, which train goes to Queens.
7 goes to Queens.
Is it 7?
Queens. 7. 7's Queens.
7 goes to Queens.
And I think 5 is the Yankees train.
I loved it. I hated driving around the city or taking Ubers after I played there for a little while.
I believe isn't it 4?
Oh, the 4 train.
That sounds
7.
That sounds right.
That was
7.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't get to take train much these days, even though I'm in the city, because my drive to Todd Father does not have a train in the cards.
They don't have
when I'm commuting. No, they don't have trains down in Tom's River. Anyway, let's get some thoughts from the Mets Up hosts. They've been hot on many topics lately, and this is actually a rare move where they didn't like what David Stearns did. But here's just a little snippet of what they said about Devin Williams.
I got the numbers. So Williams inherited 6 runners when he entered the game this season. He allowed 0 to score. I like hearing that. I think that's a good stat. Williams left 10 runners on when departing. The next relievers allowed 7 of them to score. So 70% of the time when he left the game, the Yankees relievers allowed him to score. 100% of the time when he came into the game with inherited runners, none of them.
Okay, so that was just a little clip of them going over inherited runners. Career worst 4.79 ERA for him, but if you listen to that whole episode, which I recommend, it's like 20-ish minutes, and they did it last night, they didn't love it. They thought it was okay. And of course, and we might as well push to the next part of the equation here, which AJ alluded to. What do you think happens? Do you think that this is insurance, or that they genuinely are moving on from Edwin Diaz? My guess, AJ, is that the reports are true. He wants another 5 years, 100. The Mets don't want to give him that, and they're seeing if anyone else will give him that. And they probably have their number set. Whatever. They set their line. Let's say it's 480.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, Diaz and Williams in the back end would be pretty nice, but can they get it done? I don't know. Is there another team out there? Will the Dodgers come charging in for Edwin Diaz? I don't know. Is there somebody out there that wants him more than the Mets do, apparently? Because, again, they already have a guy that can close and can pitch late in the games, and then they can find some other guys. I think this is where David Stearns tries to get cute sometimes, instead of just being like, you know what, if we have Williams and Diaz, damn, that's a hell of a bullpen. But instead, is he going to try and get cute like he did with the starters last year? It didn't work out with the Frankie Montas and all the people they brought in that weren't the best guys in the world, instead of just going and get the best guy. I don't know. We'll see. But if I'm a Mets fan, do I want Diaz and Williams at the back end? Oh, hell yeah, because then it's like 8th is locked down, 9th is locked down. We can find someone for the 6th and the 7th, but then we also got to go get a starting pitcher. So I hope they sign them all. Like I said yesterday about the Yankees, you're the Mets. You have the money. Go sign everybody.
Blue Jays, maybe? Maybe the Blue Jays go after someone like Edwin Diaz. It seems like they're willing to.
What do you do with Hoffman? Then what do you do with Hoffman?
Set up, man.
Good problem.
I mean, Jeff will be okay.
Good problem
with
to
that.
have. Good problem to have.
Yeah.
He excelled in Philly as the 7th, 8th inning guy. They had Alvarado in the closer role. And I get it. In the postseason, you know what? Him and Strom gave it up, but he had his best years as a 7th, 8th inning guy. He kind of shifted a little bit. He did close some, but it was mostly that Strom 7th, Hoffman 8th, or Hoffman 7th, Strom 8th.
They might have been a Diaz away from a World Series win just now. I mean, Hoffman was good for the rest of the playoffs.
Hoffman wasn't the problem.
No, but he gave up one homer that did end up costing them, among many other issues that arose.
You can make a lot of arguments of this and that and blah, blah, blah if you lose the World Series. But, I mean, come on. He was pretty good for him. I know he gave us some homers. Even in the regular season, he wasn't the problem.
No. I'm not knocking that part. The one other thing to keep in mind here in terms of what the Mets do, and really what any team that has a lot of money does, is that you can't necessarily build a super bullpen in the offseason. I feel like the Dodgers tried to do that a little bit last offseason with Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, and then they weren't factors at all. Because I always think about this, AJ. I'm like, why doesn't every team just try to do what the Padres do? But it's such a volatile market. Yeah, it's not easy to do. It's actually easier to do it often at the trade deadline because you're like, okay, this dude's clicking this year.
Yeah, because, listen, one of the most volatile things in baseball is relievers. Some years they're up here. Some years they go like this. They're like, oh, look at this guy. He's the best reliever in baseball. And then he goes, Devin Williams. Ooh, he's not that good. Oh, but next year we think he's going to be good. I mean, it goes like this. And the great ones, the Marianos, the Heaters, the Trevor Hoffmans, those guys, their ups and downs are so much smaller, but so many bullpen guys go like this. It's crazy if you look at the numbers, how many guys fluctuate by a run or two ERA every year. Oh, had a good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year.
Let's keep this combo going right now. Ken is ready to go. Inside Scoop time. FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal with us right now. Ken, good to see you. What do you think of the Mets adding Devin Williams here?
I pretty much have the same opinion as most of my fellow writers, it seems, which is good move, but necessary still to have Edwin Diaz in the back of that bullpen if you're building a really strong bullpen. If you've got Devin Williams as your closer, well, you better build a strong group in front of him, which they ultimately could do anyway. But I'd like this a whole lot better if it's Williams setting up for Diaz. Not that Devin Williams can't close. Of course he can. But as a setup man for Edwin Diaz, that is a combination that a championship team would want and you could see becoming something truly special.
Go for it, AJ.
My question is, which one do you think they're going to be better at, Ken? Getting Edwin Diaz and trying to use Devin Williams as a setup guy? Or can they go out and fill it to make Devin Williams? Because basically when he was at his best, he was a one-inning guy. They brought him in the ninth in Milwaukee after getting through 8 innings and saying, go get the ninth in a clean inning. So which one do you think the Mets favor doing?
Well, it's going to depend on price. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but if they feel
What new, Ken? What new, Ken?
If they feel Edwin Diaz's price is excessive, they're not going to sign Edwin Diaz. But if you're asking me which is the better way to go, a group of strong setup men in front of Williams as a closer, or Edwin Diaz in the back, Devin Williams setting up, and then a group of guys, hopefully strong group in front of them, I would say that's the better way to go. But there are many ways to build a bullpen. We know that. And often relievers come out of nowhere too. Now, you can't count on that, obviously. It's much better to have someone who's proven, like a Williams or a Diaz. But you can build a bullpen. The Mets can build a quality bullpen without Diaz and with Williams as their closer. They just would be better with Diaz as the anchor.
All right, Ken. He just threw you a slider. I'm going to throw you the nastiest knuckleball. Is there a chance they get Diaz because they don't want to spend on starting pitching, so they're going to shorten the game and get guys who can just go 4 innings like they have been and say, we have much more stability knowing what we're getting with 2 elite end of the game closers. We'll just shorten the game and never have to spend anything on a starting pitcher.
No, they need starting pitching. And you're right. Teams today, Erik, generally prefer, if possible, to shorten games. We just don't see starters pitching deep into games anymore. But even if you're taking that approach with the Mets, or if you're the Mets, you're still going to need guys to start the game beyond your 3 kids and beyond David Peterson and the rest of that group, Manaea. So their clearest need, their biggest downfall last season was starting pitching. And even with Devin Williams, and even if you get Edwin Diaz, and even if you sign 3 other relievers, you're still going to need someone to take the ball at the start of the game. And it's really hard to win with 4 inning starts every night because you're going to your bullpen every night. The volatility that AJ was speaking of comes into play. So no, their priority still has to be 2 starting pitchers, not 1 in my opinion, 2, and then go from there.
All right, Ken, well, who's next? Which reliever is next off the board? I know Pete Fairbanks has been mentioned. There's some other guys out there that are mentioned as relievers. So who's next? Who's the next closer to sign? Is it Diaz? Is it Fairbanks? Is it someone else that we don't know? A late inning guy that it's going to get big money?
I would expect Fairbanks. In fact, I thought he might be the next one after Helsley. And of course, Williams signed first. Fairbanks has gotten a ton of interest. The Marlins have been a team on him. The Blue Jays have been a team on him. They've been on the other relievers as well, the late inning guys. Edwin Diaz is maybe going to take a bit longer because he has the qualifying offer. And that complicates things with his market. Teams have to give up a draft pick to sign him. Robert Suarez, I would expect that he's going to take a little bit longer too, though you don't know. And as the Williams signing showed, even the Ryan Helsley signing showed, the timing of these things are impossible to predict. But certainly we are seeing a run on relievers. We're seeing this from Raisel Iglesias to Phil Maton to Helsley to now Devin Williams, and I'm probably missing a couple. Andrew Kittredge had his option picked up by the Orioles after they acquired him in a trade. The relievers are clearly going first here, and there are quite a few left. We've got Luke Weaver left. We've got Emilio Pagan left. We've got Kenley Jansen still out there. So there are a number of options still available. Tyler Rogers is a hot guy too.
Hey, Ken, I want to be critical here of something that I think shouldn't be overlooked. Pete Fairbanks didn't have his option picked up. We're seeing what the prices are looking like. There's almost no chance that Pete Fairbanks is going to get less than what the Rays could have picked him up for. I believe that there was concern from the Rays that they weren't going to be able to flip him. But now looking back, I think many teams would have at least given up a prospect or two to lock in Pete Fairbanks for one season at, I believe, 10 or 11 million bucks. So how much did they screw up? This is a team that can't spend much, so they can't miss on the margins like this.
I agree, Scott. And actually, I asked that question after they declined the option. And what I was told is that they have had a hard time trading him, or they had a hard time trading him. It wasn't as easy as we might think. You know, he has had some physical issues, and that comes into it. But for whatever reason, at least in their mind, they weren't getting the value that they wanted for Fairbanks. Now, certainly, it appeared to me that in a market this vibrant with teams, so many teams needing relievers, that someone would have given them a prospect, as you said, for Pete Fairbanks. But I don't know that they didn't try. They did try. It's just that they didn't get what they wanted. Now, should they have set their sights lower? That's something that we could talk about, but we don't know exactly what they were offered. So it's difficult to say. But this is a team that certainly is not afraid to trade. The last two deadlines, they've traded guys, a ton of guys, and yet they didn't trade Fairbanks. And perhaps that tells us that his market, at least in their eyes, wasn't as good as it could have been.
Ken, stay on the Rays here for a second. Is Brandon Lau going to get traded? Is he next? I mean, because like we just mentioned, Pete Fairbanks wasn't. I mean, $11 million I think is what they declined. He hopefully gets more than that for a guy that we all like here on FT. But is Brandon Lau next? Are they finally going to pull the trigger on Brandon Lau, a guy who they locked in, and he's been a really good player for him, and he's been in rumors. Gosh, I feel like Brandon Lau has been rumored like every year, like, oh, Brandon Lau's a guy. Are they finally going to pull the trigger on him?
I would say they're more motivated than in the past. He has only 1 year remaining, and then he will become a free agent. So you have two more windows to trade him. One would be now, and one would be at the deadline, where sometimes it's hard to find fits for position players. So there are teams that could use a left-handed hitting second baseman like Brandon Lau, a guy who's third on the Rays all-time list in home runs. So they're going to listen. The problem they have with trading him is that they don't have really an internal replacement. Carson Williams could be their shortstop eventually this season. Maybe Taylor Walls moves to second. That's an offensively challenged double play combination, at least right now. And then you have Jonathan Aranda. You could play him at second, but he hasn't played much there. So if you trade Lau, you probably got to find a second baseman somewhere else. Not impossible, something that they could do, but it's a little bit complicated for that reason.
Is there a chance Patrick Zalewski spends? Or is it all based on, oh, I need his public funding for my new stadium, and just gets in line with every other major league owner?
Every signal they've been sending so far is that they're going to continue to operate the way they've operated in the past. Now, that, of course, is in a very financially restricted way. They say it would be based on their revenues. Why should we outspend our revenues? We all get that. That said, when a new owner comes in, generally a new owner wants to make an impact. And we've written about this at The Athletic a little bit. I do not expect it to happen. But Kyle Tucker is from Tampa. Actually, Pete Alonso is also from Tampa. And you could make a real splash with one of those two guys. And the Rays in the past, they have made some big money bids. Freddie Freeman was the most notable among them. But Freddie Freeman ended up being 165. Kyle Tucker probably will be twice that. I don't see it happening. But to get to your point, Erik, if I'm the new owners of the Rays, yeah, I'd like to maybe make a signing or two to demonstrate right away my commitment and how it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, fans are pretty simple, right? It's like caveman status, like feed me, give me a home for fans. It's like you show up, talk to me a little bit, maybe sign someone, give me a sign that things are going to be different. So we haven't seen it yet, but I mean, there's time. We've got the offseason to go here. While we're on the Rays real quick, Ken, I don't know if you saw Brandon Hyde was picked up there as a senior advisor. I just wanted to reflect now that all of the manager roles have been filled. Were any names really surprising to you that they didn't either get a job or didn't surface more? To me, Hyde stands out, and I know you wrote a story about David Ross. It didn't sound like he got a ton of interest either.
Those two for sure. And we've had some interesting managerial hires this cycle, no doubt about it. And we've had some first-timers, guys like Kurt Suzuki, who you could think of as getting a chance at some point based on the way teams hire now. And we've had some outside-the-box hires. Blake Butera, coming from the Tampa Bay Rays minor league system, becoming the Nationals manager at 31. And, of course, Tony Vitello in San Francisco, never been in professional baseball, only in college. We'll see how this all plays out. I've written about this, and I know people have strong opinions both ways. There are some people who believe, hey, good for the game to get new people in the mix and to find these people and just take a different approach. There are other people, and I would count myself in this group, who think that experience matters a whole lot and that some of the more experienced managers who deserve a second chance are getting overlooked in a way that they shouldn't be. And I would put Hyde and Ross in that category. Was either the next Connie Mack in their first incarnations? No. But we've seen managers who get second chances often succeed. Derek Shelton got one in Minnesota. He'll be their new guy. But to me, experience counts more than teams or certain teams are giving it credit for. And it's sort of an insult to some of these guys that they're not getting at least a more serious look. And I know people on both sides of this, they don't see it that way, but it's just a little unusual the way this has all gone down this offseason.
All right, you wrote in your notes column that about the center field market with Jake Myers possibly being somebody that the Astros would trade. Does the center field market go through the aforementioned Minnesota Twins, just like you talked about with the trades with Buxton? And is that kind of the reason that maybe the Astros are looking to move Jake Myers? They see a place where teams need some value with, I think, just Bader being the best center fielder available on the market right now.
No one seems to know what the Twins are doing, and that's a problem for all of us right now. I'm not even sure the Twins know what they're doing just yet because they've gotten this infusion of money from the two new minority investors, but they were going to use it to cover and pay down their debt. And where they are in a baseball sense is not clear at all. And the Twins can go one of two ways. They can continue what they started at the deadline, which was just tearing it down to the absolute nubs, or they can start to build back up again. They've got a core of decent players. Buxton, of course, foremost among them, Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez. We can go right down the line in a division that is perennially one of the weaker divisions. They could build up again, fix their bullpen, which they traded everybody from last July, and then try to compete. I don't know that that's the way they're going to go, and I don't know that they're going to trade Ryan, Pablo Lopez, and then Buxton too. I don't know if that's their choice. But Dan Hayes of The Athletic has written that if they continue this process, if, for instance, they choose to trade Ryan, then Buxton is going to be open to a trade as well. And it just all depends on the direction that they take, and that direction, again, is not yet clear.
Ken, you're talking about the Marlins hiring coaches and losing coaches and you're saying the free agent market is slowed by coaches? To me, as a player, I'm like, wait, why is the free agent market slowed by coaches? You have a manager, you have a general manager. It doesn't matter to me as a player really who the coaches are. I'm going to go play there if I want to go play there.
No, it's not that. Maybe I didn't write it clearly enough, AJ, or maybe you're not.
Well, or I didn't read it.
Or you didn't read it. But no, what I meant by that, what I'm referring to is teams are so preoccupied right now and have been for the past month or so in hiring new staff. They lose people, they hire new people. There were 9 managerial changes, right? So you have all these teams hiring coaches from one another and then having to replace the ones they lost and all of that. That is what delayed their attention on trades in the free agent market. Now we're in full force now. There's still some hirings of staff members going on, but for the most part, teams are focused on player personnel, and that's where the offseason generally is the most fun, of course. But it does get delayed a bit by all the staffing changes because teams, they have to go through interview processes, even for minor league hitting coordinators or lower positions even. It's not something that you just snap your fingers and you've got that person. You've got to go through a process, interview people, bring them in, etc. And it takes time.
Hey, Ken, I want to bring up the Andrew Baggerly article from The Athletic. Your colleague wrote about how San Francisco is not going to necessarily be playing on big starting pitching like Amai, who seemed like an obvious fit. He does want to go against the Dodgers, it appears. The one, I mean, go wherever you want to go, but the one part I did want to include here is he said how they're still about $60 million under the luxury tax threshold, but there's other payments involved, like Blake Snell's bonus and some money they have to pay off for managers, buyouts, whatever. Even with that math, I'm like, they still have a lot under the first threshold at 244 mil. So why do you think that they're not going to get up to that mark?
I don't know. And it's very curious to me. And I encourage people to read what Andrew Baggerly wrote because he goes through just where the Giants are. Now, we've known and we've seen them make some big money commitments. Devers, of course, Adames, Chapman, yes, even the center fielder. But At the same time, if you're going to do that, why do you stop? And it seems that they're stopping. It seems that they're not going to go big for the pitching that they need. And it's very curious why they've taken this approach. Whether it's related to an impending lockout, I don't know. Whether ownership has simply decided we don't want to do this at this level right now, it's not clear. But to me, you're the Giants. You're trying to build back up. You've just hired a new manager. Why are you taking not necessarily a step back, but a step sideways? It just doesn't seem to add up to me.
Ken, are you coming? You're coming to the winter meetings next week, right?
No, AJ, I'm boycotting the winter meeting.
I figured that, Ken, because that would mean that you would have to hang out with me, and therefore you might have to pay for dinner. So therefore you would boycott. So at least now
I'm not getting you dinner.
Let me throw this out there because I know
you know what you could do, Ken?
Hold on. Let me talk. I know former players get easily offended when I don't rise to their beck and call when they summon me at something like the winter meetings. I've had this happen to me, actually. And let me tell you something. When I'm at the winter meetings, I'm working. I'm not hanging out with AJ Pierzynski. Sorry.
Oh, well, and that leads me to my next thing. I live about 10 minutes from where you're going to be. You could drive your little happy ass over there and you could actually do the show live, and then you could do it at my house, and I won't be at my house. I'll be at the hotel. So that way you wouldn't have to actually see me, but you could be on the show live, but just not in the same location.
AJ, my little happy ass will be working. Period.
Ken's in all.
By the way, Ken,
at winter
speaking
meetings.
of former players, I played golf today with Brad Hand, and who's on the show today, and I said Ken Rosenthal, and he said, "Man, that's the one guy." And I don't know, he's no longer invited to play golf with me. He said he's the one guy that you could actually trust, and if you told him something, he would do the right thing with it. So, Ken, that's my one compliment for you for the next 20
AJ
years.
said something nice to me. All right.
But it wasn't for
Christmas
me.
early.
I was just relaying the message.
Well, no, I appreciate that, but you're relaying something nice. That's unusual. Usually you withhold that kind of information.
I know.
I'm in a state of shock. Well, that's a good way to say goodbye. And really, Ken, don't worry. We'll make sure that this isn't just an AI fake version of AJ. We'll spend the next hour working on that, but you do your thing. We will talk to you later this week, and we will see you at the winter meetings next week. Thank you.
He'll be working, though. He can't speak.
Okay, it's still AJ. He interrupted you. It's still him. We're good. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate you. That's Inside Scoop. Fair Territory came out yesterday, so we didn't talk with Ken just now about the Helsley signing and the Dylan Cease signing because he covered it on Fair. So make sure you check out that episode. It's on YouTube and it's wherever you get your podcasts. Be right back for Sonny Gray's intro press conference. Interesting comments. KP, the website is chubbyshorts.com. The brand is Chubbies, but it's not just shorts.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the website's name. This is a one-stop shop for all things that I love. Swimming trunks, golf polos, and even flannels. It fits me perfectly. One-stop shop is the place to go.
Yes, sir. KP, I've been wearing their flannel overshirt. It's like my favorite flannel and your softest sweater having a little baby. It's the best of both worlds. Classic flannel look with the warmth of a fleece. And we know it's that time of year to pull that off. The Chubbies flannel overshirt. It feels like your favorite flannel, but with the warmth of a cozy sweater. And for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your purchase at Chubbies with the promo code FOUL at checkout. But if it's Black Friday, skip the code. Take advantage of an even bigger markdown during their exclusive Black Friday sale. Just head to chubbiesshorts.com and make sure to support the show by telling them that Foul Territory sent you.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Sonny Gray is now a member of the Boston Red Sox, and he is amped about it. He did not hesitate when the Cardinals called and said, "Hey, you want to waive your no trade clause for the Red Sox?" Why, guys? Because he has a case of the Aroldis Chapman syndrome. And do you know what that is? That is a player who used to play for the Yankees, but now kind of hates them. So let's roll tweets. 3 that stand out here from the press conference. This is Gabrielle Starr. Sonny Gray said it was an immediate yes when told it was the Red Sox who wanted him because he had to waive his no trade. And he mentioned Steven Matz telling him it was a great experience and the Red Sox having Garrett Crochet and a lot of young talent. Okay, and then gets juicier here. He said he did not have a good experience with the Yankees. Quote, I never wanted to go there in the first place, but I do appreciate my time there. And then Tim Healy also with this tweet on Gray said he's looking forward to the rivalry with the Yanks. Quote, it feels good to me to go to a place where it's easy to hate the Yankees. Wow. AJ, Sonny Gray really hated playing with Kratz that much?
He did. I mean, it was all Kratz's fault, I think, is what he said. And that's what I read out of that article, was that Kratz was a bad game caller and couldn't frame, is what he said. I swear I read that somewhere in there. But no, I mean, listen, we all know Sonny Gray hated his time. I don't know about Kratz, but we all have that place that we played where you're like, wasn't really a fit. I have mine. I'm sure Kratz maybe has 1 or 2. I have mine that was like, that wasn't really a fit and didn't work out. Fine. But usually don't go public firing on the whole thing. But Sonny Gray did it. You know why? Because he's a Red Sox now. And you know who he gets to play 13 times a year? The Yankees. So now he gets to take his shots. And Chapman's on the same team. And good for them. Like, this is what baseball needs. This is what we want. We want more people to be honest. And also, we want rivalries to be great. So good for you, Sonny Gray. Let's not criticize him at all. I mean, other than the fact that he got on Kratz. But other than that, it was a great thing.
Well, good news was it wasn't my catching that bothered him, because that year when we played together, I just sat the bench the whole time for the month that I was there. But I can tell you the reason he probably didn't want to go to the Yankees was because he had a trade and extension deal worked out with another team. So when Sonny Gray comes on, Scott put down a note. Remember to ask that, so that we ask that question of him. But I think some of these quotes were a little tied together here. I think there was a little bit like he didn't accept the deal because, I want to get back at the Yankees. I think Chappie wanted to get back at the Yankees, and that's why he took the Red Sox deal. I think Sonny Gray sees what this team is doing, sees what they did last year, knows they're going to continue to push, knows he's not going to need to be the number 1 guy, and the fact that he can contribute to a playoff team who needs to continue to take the next steps, that's why. And he got a few troll shots in. I like that, though.
I totally disagree with you, Kratz. I think he cannot wait to shove it to Yankee fans. Remember, August 1st, 2018, booed off during a bout adding, and he had been booed off many times prior. 3rd inning against Baltimore, speaking of my nerdy notes, a little smirk. And that took over the tabloids for a week. Sonny Gray's smirk. What is it? And how rude of him, blah, blah, blah. So you agree on that one, right? He cannot wait to try and shove it to Yankee fans because he hated the way that they booed him.
It's only a 2-hour show, but I have to be very specific. There are Yankee fans, and then there's the Yankee organization. And I think Chappie, Aroldis Chapman, was a little bit more mad at the Yankee organization. And maybe these words from Sonny Gray were focused more on Yankee fans.
Bingo. And what was the thing you wanted me to ask him? For real. What do you want me to write down?
The pre-trade extension that he had worked. Essentially, they worked out with another team, and then the Yankees came in and traded for him.
Wow. That actually is pretty juicy right there.
Mm-hmm. Who was it? Can we not get the answer?
Do we know who the team was? Are we allowed?
I'm about 85% sure I remember the team, so that's why I didn't say what the team was. But so
Can
I have
you give
to
us a division?
Can
you give us a division?
It was
Can we get a division?
But it's all speculation. If I'm like Ken, I got to get it 100% across the line before I say it. So when Sonny comes on, we'll ask him. But it was not in the Yankees division.
Ironic that Mr. Conspiracy Theory, which I happen to love, won't give us his 85% likelihood,
Because
but
it
we'll
was
make
his.
Sonny do it. I get it. We'll make Sonny do it.
Because it was his words. It was
Yes.
his words, not mine. I'm not gonna say definitively it was this team.
Yeah, we'll ask Sonny when he comes on at some point. I don't know if you were on with us, AJ, and now I think
You're
you're
muted,
muted if you're
AJ.
trying to talk to us. But
Yeah,
AJ,
Well, if you had to
what do you got?
guess, would you say it was the Reds or the Cubs or the Giants?
it was
If
not
you had an
those teams.
85% guess,
It was
okay,
not those
well
teams.
then, was it the Marlins? Was it the Rays? Was it the
It was
Braves?
not the Marlins. The Marlins.
Was it the Expos? Was it the Nationals? Was it the
This
Mariners.
is
It was the
2017.
Bananas.
Completely different landscape of a team.
True. Hey, wait, AJ.
Nationals?
I don't know if you were. He's not going to say. AJ, I don't know if you were on with us when the Gray deal happened, but what do you think about this for Boston, especially as you see that starting pitching is going to be expensive? We knew that, but Dylan Cease getting a good chunk of change in the free agent market means it's not going to be cheap to get a pitcher like that. No, I'm not necessarily comping Sonny Gray to Dylan Cease, but Sonny Gray is a very serviceable mid-rotation starter who, if he has another nice year, right? I know he was okay last year, but if he has a nice year, he could pitch in a playoff game for Boston. There were many fans, like I was disagreeing with on social media, that were like, he can't pitch a playoff game. I'm like, yes, he can.
Yes, he can. He can. He won't be a 1 or a 2, but didn't Craig Breslow say we're only looking for 1s or 2s? Isn't that what his quote was? Nothing against Sonny Gray. I love Sonny Gray. And when he came on, he was awesome. So when we're in Boston camp, I'll make sure that I make him come on. Unlike Kratz in Cardinals camp, we couldn't get him to come on, and they were teammates. I don't get it. Maybe that's why he didn't like Kratz. I don't know. But I'm just going to say this, okay, I think Sonny Gray is a nice 3 to 4, and he can pitch you. He'll give you 5 solid innings most of the time. If you're looking for 7 to 8, might be stretching a little bit. But if he gets in his routine, and he has a very strict routine starting from like 4 hours before the game, if he gets in that routine and everything goes right, he can give you 5 to 6 solid innings, and he can be great at times. But is he the 1 or 2 that Craig Breslow said the Red Sox need? I'm not so sure about that. But he can be a solid starter for you. And yes, he can start a playoff game in a LCS or a World Series. He could be a 3 or 4. He could give you what Max Scherzer gave the Blue Jays. He can give you what, Shane Bieber gave the Blue Jays. Can he do that? Absolutely. But he's not going to give you 9 innings.
Yeah, no doubt. And most don't, right? How many guys do you really
True.
trust in the playoffs to go deep into games and get through a third, fourth, whatever time through the orders? So I don't know. I felt like some people probably loved the deal. Some people that were against it, I'm like, it's like a 1 year, 20-ish
Some people are going to be against anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You should see Padres Twitter about Dylan Cease. They're like, if Ruben Niebla can't fix him, nobody can. I'm like, all right, relax. That's a little bit much. They're like, he's cooked. He's inconsistent. He'll never have it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, let's not act like this guy's never had good seasons before. His best seasons actually were before San Diego.
So maybe Ruben Niebla didn't fix him. Maybe it was Ethan Katz that had the magic touch with him. I don't know. But listen, the Blue Jays got something, and Pete Walker, you know him, Kratz. Pete Walker's pretty damn good. He's fixed a lot of guys. I mean, not every guy agrees and does everything that every team says. He got $210 million at 182, according to Scott, but it says 210 on the contract. Reason to figure it out.
Don't get me started on that. You had a lot of hate mail about your.
You got a lot of hate mail?
No, you did. Thinking that $1. You think $1 in 1800, 1900, 2000, and 2025 is all the same money. You got
I never said that.
About
never
deferrals.
did I say that. Never, ever have I ever.
But let's step aside for a second because Max Muncy's ready. Hey, this week and last week, it's a big time to spend a little dough on a gift for someone. I've got an idea for you. Tuesday, February 18th, There is the fourth annual Playmakers Classic in downtown Phoenix. You can order your tickets at playerstrust.org, all going to a great cause. Hundreds of people, including probably like 100-ish current big leaguers, will be in the house for that one. You get the guys that are out there in Arizona for spring training, and also AJ, even more so this year because a lot of people will be showing up early to spring training, being that you have the World Baseball Classic.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great event. I mean, if you haven't been to one of these, it's an amazing event. Players are much more amicable to sign autographs, hang out with you, especially at charity events and before spring training and during spring training. And here you go, especially for a great organization like the Players Trust. So there'll be a ton of players there. There'll be a ton of people. If you want autographs, if you want pictures, buy your ticket. It's a great way to interact with Major League Baseball players, and they'll be in a great mood. You know why? Because games will have not started yet, and the WBC will not have started yet. So they are just still in the off-season mode, and they will be ready to get down.
Don't buy people junk. Buy people experiences. And this is an experience that, AJ said, they'll give more autographs and stuff like that. You'll have you have so many more stories than something that'll just sit on your shelf. Oh man, remember when I played with so-and-so from the Braves or from the Diamondbacks? We played blackjack together. That was so sick. He was like super cool. Like he's kind of one of us. Like that's what you get at this experience. And to me, it's a no-brainer gift for somebody who enjoys getting the experience of hanging out with some big leaguers.
And here's what it looks like. Playmakers Classic, downtown Phoenix, February 18th. Again, there's where you can buy your tickets, or you can smack the QR code on the screen right now. And we've got Max Muncy ready to go. Back-to-back champ with us on FT. Max, good to see you. While we were talking about it for a moment, AJ and me were in some silly deferrals debate yesterday. I'm not going to bring that to this, but I do want to bring this part of the conversation up. Max, did you know that the Dodgers are actually not the only team that gives out deferrals? Almost every deal I've been reading this offseason involves other teams giving out deferrals. It's crazy. Dylan Cease got a chunk of deferrals. So it's maybe not as unfair in the landscape as we thought it was going to be, or as some people are told by the league. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, every team's always been allowed to do it. It's not like we cracked some secret code. Like I said, every team's always been allowed to do it, and that's how it's always been. It's just you have to, as a player, you have to want to agree to that. And then my understanding of how the deferrals work is the club has to be able to front that money, even though they're not paying it to you. They still have to be able to cover that money right away, and so that might be where it gets tricky with the clubs not wanting to do deferrals. But every team's always been allowed to do it.
I mean, I wasn't going to ask this until you said it, but did you ever see a time when Shohei was like, guys, can I borrow a few bucks because he was only making $2 million this year? Or was he totally fine, the same generous Shohei that he's always been?
I mean, Sho's never changed. Let's be honest, Sho's doing just fine with his off the field stuff. So, I think he's doing all right.
Okay, good. I'm glad you cleaned that up. But I'm going to go to your teammates because another team had something come up that I thought was kind of a know-nothingness to talk about, but it was arguments between players. Certain players were arguing about how somebody made a play or whatever. You guys won the World Series this year. Did you have any arguments at all during a 162-game plus spring training plus World Series moment where somebody had to call somebody out, somebody was mad at somebody else during the entire season?
One of the unique things with our roster is there's so much experience and, veterancy that, when people get called out, it's never an argument. It's always, hey, this is how we probably should have done this. This is how you need to do this. And there's so much respect for everyone inside the clubhouse that never turns into an argument. It's always a discussion. If someone came to me and was like, hey, you should do this, I would tell them, all right, this is what I was thinking. You're right. I probably should have done it this way, but this is what was going through my head at that moment. That's why I did it this way. And that's happened several times throughout the course, of all the seasons I've been there, where it just turns into discussions instead of hey, what are you doing? You need to pull your head out of your butt. And it's never been that way since I've been here with the Dodgers. And there's been a lot of discussions that go on, but it's just grown men having conversations about what we need to do to be better at certain things. And that's just the whole team holding each other accountable, and it's never escalated to the point of being an argument that's caught on camera.
Max, is that from Dave? Is that from Doc? Or is that from guys like you and Freddie and Mookie and Clayton and guys like that? Because I've been on teams where guys, we won and you didn't always get along. There was arguments or discussions or whatever you want to call it. But is that a Dave thing? Or is that just you guys are all really good and you're like, you know what, we can have mature arguments?
I think it's an all the above thing. Doc has always had his finger on the pulse of the clubhouse. He knows exactly what's going on with people. He knows, who he can talk to certain ways, because everyone's different. There's some guys that need to have, they need to get chewed out a little bit. And there's other guys you need to coddle them a little bit. And, sometimes you have to go outside the norm, but Doc always knows who he can talk to and how he can approach certain ways and what he needs to do to get the most out of players. And then the other part of it is it's just everyone in the clubhouse knowing, if Freddie is coming up to you and saying something, you're not just going to immediately jump back at Freddie and, start getting mad at him because it's like, okay, this guy's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing. If Mookie's saying that, I remember very clearly, within the first month of us having Shohei, there was a play where he was running the bases and he didn't necessarily get as good a secondary lead. And he wasn't able to score on a certain play. And after the game, it was like Freddie, Mookie, Clayton, our first base coach, several of us grabbed him and we just said, hey, we just want to show you something. This is what you did on your secondary, that you need to be a little bit better at this, and that would allow you to score. And, he was just like, oh, this is great. People are approaching me and wanting to talk to me about the, and that's how we've always done things here. And it's just, that's part of the culture that we've created.
By the way, your answer to the question is, you see over your one, I think it's this shoulder, see the trophy, and then you're going to have one over this shoulder. Yeah, that one. That's, wow, you're bad. Oh, and then you're going to have a third one. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to stack them like a pyramid? You're going to take the two and then put the third one on top? I mean, you're bad.
We're still figuring that one out. That one's on the way. I don't know when it gets here, but yeah, we'll figure out what to do with it.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that. Is there anybody on the team that they don't respond to oh, great job, Max. Oh, that's the example I give is Didi Gregorius was always he would yell at somebody if they said, oh, good swing, Didi. He's like, good swing. He's like, I got out. I don't care if I hit every ball hard and I get out, I'm pissed. Who's that guy on the Dodgers that just is like, no, it's all about it's do not coddle me at all?
Freddie's that way a little bit. Freddie always thinks his swing sucks, and then he's hitting 330 at the end of the year, and it's like, it's just that. But that's how Freddie operates. That's what makes him, one of the best first basemen ever. That's just that's how his mind operates. He always thinks he needs to fix something in his swing, and even though his swing is super simple, it's that's just how he's always thinking. He's like, oh, my swing's cutty today, it's not going to work, and then he has 3 doubles later in the game, and he's still sitting on the bench saying, yeah, my swing's just not right. And it's like, man, I wish my swing wasn't right. I'd love 3 doubles today.
By the way, and then the best part about Freddie is he'll be like, oh, I can't wait to go home and see Fred, his dad. And he's like, he'll get me right. And you're like, Freddie, you're hitting 330 with 30 and 100, and it's June. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens when your dad sees you, because then what else can you do? I used to love that because I played with Freddie, a long time ago. And he'd get 3 hits. He'd be like, gosh, I had a bad night. I'm like, Freddie, you had 3 hits, dude. Like, what can you possibly complain about?
Exactly. But, that's just how he operates, and that's what makes him so good. And, Mookie's a little bit the same way where, Mookie's whole workday, he'll sit there and say that something's not working in his swing, and then he goes out there and, he's hitting rockets all over the field. And There's certain guys that's just how they operate. And then I've seen the complete opposite side of that where, a guy will take 5 swings and go, yep, I'm good. And then he goes out there and he has 3 hits, and it's, everyone's different in how they work.
Max, hold on. I got someone that wants to talk to you. Hold on. Sit down.
No.
Sit down. Do you remember a guy named Brad Hand?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that he owned you. So I just tell him whatever you want to tell him. And so that,
I mean, I'm sure he did, but I know
you.
for a fact there was maybe a 2-run double in Washington off him. So, there might be like 10 other strikeouts in there, but there was a 2-run double off him.
Hey, you got to sit on the slider.
The problem is it was so.
Don't be waiting for the heater to come.
No, I didn't wait for the heater off you. I was trying to get that slider that started at my face and try to find a way to stay in there on it.
No doubt, smart man.
He said you were an easier out than who was it? Anybody?
You?
Oh, me. Well, me is easy. Comparing us is like not even fair. But he told me we were playing golf today, and he goes, Max Muncy was a tougher out than Corey Seager.
Yeah,
which I think that's a pretty good compliment.
I mean, I'll take it. My whole goal off guys like him is hopefully he's going to throw enough pitches that I don't swing at, that I'm a walk, and then the guy behind me can do the damage. Or I might just get that one slider, like I said, that just starts in the right spot and I can do some damage on it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you gotta pick your spots.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the tough lefties in the pen, you hope you get them to throw enough pitches that they can't throw it again the next day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought I faced you a lot more times than 3 times. Being in the
is that all? Well, that's because Doc
3 times. I think AJ looked it up.
3.
It was 3 times.
1 for 3, 2 punchies, a double, a walk, and RBI.
Yeah.
So who wins that fight? If you're 1 for 3 with a double and 2 punchies and a walk, who wins?
Look, you're supposed to strike me out, so when I get that hit, I win.
Nah, dude. Yeah. I would say you win that. That's a win for you.
Yeah.
I
mean, that 1 for 3, that's 1 for 3. That's over 300. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thanks for the stop by, Brad. Good to see you, dude.
Yeah,
thanks. He just pulled me in there.
Yeah, sorry.
That
about
is
that.
what he does. That is what he does.
While AJ specialist was talking trash.
Exactly. I love it. While AJ gets his ears back, Max, question for you. I mean, the offseason is young, but we've seen some pitchers sign some big money deals. And, Cyrus Online was talking about how it's funny that so many 4+ ERA guys from this past season are getting big money. He's saying it sarcastically because he's like, teams don't look at ERA the way that most people do. And there are other stats like that, of course, that are easy to use for the casual fan or just for our game in general. But what are your thoughts on what you observe that's most important, not just to you, but to teams when they're evaluating hitters and pitchers these days?
ERA is such a tough stat for me. Obviously, you want that guy that's got the super low ERA, especially as a starting pitcher. I feel like you could look at ERA a little bit. Maybe not so much as a reliever because, as a reliever, you just don't get enough innings throughout the course of a year. If you have one really bad outing, that just sets your ERA back for, the whole season pretty much. I've seen guys who have a 4 ERA and then you look at their numbers and it's like they haven't given up a run in the last 30 games. They just had one game where they gave up 6 runs and it just ruined their ERA. And it's so for me, the relievers, you can't necessarily take into account the ERA. There's just not enough like bulk innings to where if they have one, bad outing, it kind of ruins it. But as a starter, you'd obviously want a guy with a lower ERA. And then that's also where it gets, because you have to look into when is that ERA coming into account. Is it the 5th inning on? Is it the 1st inning? If you can give me 5 good innings as a starter, that's really good. Obviously, you'd love to have 6 or 7. Makes it easier on your bullpen. But if you have a guy that can give you 5 clean innings every single time out, and then the 6th and 7th starts getting a little squirrely, it's that's a little different to me.
All right, your option good?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Scott said to ask about your option. You got
Didn't
picked up,
didn't
didn't
your
you?
option get picked up since we last spoke? Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a month ago.
Well, we haven't spoken since, so I thought
Yeah, we spoke to you right after the World Series. So we got to officially congratulate and also, give us the juicy details. Is it like a 5-second phone call? Or,
does Brandon Gomes call you?
Or
your agent call you?
You want to know what it actually was? It was an email.
No. Come on. They emailed you and said, "Congratulations, Max, you're a Dodger again."
I mean, I think it's one of those things where like we all knew it was getting picked up, and so my agent calls me and he's like, "Hey, they picked up the option. Here's the email they sent," and he just forwarded it over, and it was like, okay, sweet, I'm back again. That's what I wanted. And we'll go from there. But yeah, it wasn't one of those things where it was like a coming down to the wire situation. I think they had to make a couple moves just to, at the end of the season, everyone has to come off the 60-day, and so they had to figure out, what moves they were doing there. I think that was the only reason it took to the last day. But yeah, we had felt pretty good it was going to get picked up.
Were you like there were 60 and 40 when I was in the lineup, and without me we were barely over 500? So can I get an extension? Did you email that back to was there like do not reply? Because I would have been like, they were 60 and 40 when I was in the lineup, so let's get another year put on that option.
Well, they got some other things they're working on right now.
Do tell. What do you mean? What are they working on?
Oh, I have no idea what they're working on. I'm just saying they already got me, for next year. So I'm not. If we wanted to discuss something like that, that's not at the top of the page at the moment.
Wait. You're the 2-year man. You're always getting that 2-year extension. Doesn't that normally happen? Like for somebody who never got any extensions, doesn't that normally happen when, hey, you know what, we're going to pick your option up. We'd love to actually make it 2 years, kind of like extend it back out again, or is that not when that happens for you?
I think we've created such a good relationship with Andrew and Brandon and Alex and all those guys over there that there's just not really any rush to get to that point. And that's really how it's always been with me is, we'll talk to them and say, hey, we'd love to discuss something like this, and they'll respond back and say, yeah, let's discuss it later on in the year. And it's really how it's always gone. And so it's just I don't know what they have in the works with who they're looking at. Obviously I don't get up. They don't send out like organizational updates on what they're doing. So I'm sure they're looking at pieces that are out there and, who they might try to go after and all that stuff. And then, once that's done, maybe we'll have discussion, maybe we won't. I honestly don't know. I would love to, clearly, but we just have to see how things unfold.
Okay, so just to clarify for all the fans who keep saying this is no, the Dodgers do not call Max Muncy to see if he'll change positions for Alex Bregman or Akamoto or all that stuff. Max Muncy is just ready to start playing as a Dodger, but you do want another starting pitcher. And Tatsuya Amai has come out and said he would love to take the Dodgers down. When you hear that from somebody who is probably one of the best starting pitchers available, does that give you like a little bit of like a peacock strut where you're like, yeah, I hope he wants to. But then you also hope he signs with the Giants, right?
I mean, to be honest, it's no different than any other starting pitcher out there where they all want to take us down. So it's, I haven't looked into this guy at all. I don't know what his stuff is. And I'm sure he's amazing. As we've seen, a lot of the Japanese pitchers that have come over have been extremely good. You look at the guys on our staff. So I'm sure he's very, very talented and very good. I haven't looked into him, but again, I mean, every pitcher that's not on our team is saying the same thing. They want to take us down. They want to be the one to beat us. And, that's what makes it fun to go out there and play for the Dodgers. You're going to get everyone's best every single night.
Okay, so then I'll finish the headline. Max Muncy said when Amai signs with the Giants and he hits one in the Cove, he's going to tell him to go get the ball out of the water. True or false?
False.
Because you gotta like a little trash talking. I mean, come on, you guys are the 2-time defending champs. Like everybody wants to take you down.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to tell him that, I'd probably have to learn, how to say it in another language.
Well, you have Shohei, you have Sasaki, and you have Yamamoto. All three can tell you how to say it.
Yeah, that's also going to depend on if it's the 11:30 start and he's a little grumpy. So that's how it's all going to depend.
Okay, so then let's go to one of your teammates. Shohei announced he's playing for Japan in the WBC. If you are asked to play for USA and it comes down to you and the Mike Trout at bat against Shohei or Yamamoto or Sasaki, and you take them deep to win the game, are you talking trash as you run around the bases, or are you like, I am so sorry because we need you for the 162?
In that moment, I'm celebrating with the team, and however that celebration comes out, it's going to come out. I can't tell you how that would happen. I will tell you that if that did happen throughout the course of the entire season, I would just throw little jabs here and there. Just, hey, good morning. Remember when I took you deep to win? Yeah, I do too. And just walk away. You don't got to make it long. Just throw little jabs here and there. That's probably how I would do that one.
All right, we have producer lady who checks you in every time you come on the show. She has a theory, which I don't disagree with. Shohei enjoys a little bit of trolling, just a little bit. Like when he won his MVP, he kissed his dog and not his wife. When he said thank you to the fans, he made his thank you fans make it look like some people on social media were like, is Shohei retiring? What's going on? Does he like little jokes and barbs more than the stoic exterior? Oh, and also he did the Lourdes Gurriel, he kind of trolled him after he hit the home run to put you guys ahead in Arizona the one time earlier this year too.
Yeah, I will say Shohei's a very funny guy. So there might be a little bit of that in there. I'm not entirely sure. He is a very funny guy though, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about him is he's really funny. He just loves having fun. He loves to show up to the field, and he's got a great personality. He just likes to have fun. He loves to smile in the clubhouse, and I know a lot of people don't always see that out on the field, but that's who he is. He's just a great person that loves having fun.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of it, even though we can't hear much when we watch him in the playoffs. I mean, that's why for years, it sucked to not have Shohei in the playoffs. Now the whole world gets to watch him, and I don't know, just his mannerisms, they're good. What do you got, AJ?
But before we let him go, have we asked him about Kirby Yates' tattoo? Were you there when he got it done? Were you there? Because he did it. I mean, he really went for it.
Yeah, I mean, we were all there.
You were when the needle was in the rear and he was getting it done, you were all sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, it was so Mookie had the party at his house. And
Mookie tell me Mookie had a tattoo artist show up at his house and do it in front of everybody, because that would be way better than Freddie trying to do I don't want to do the worm, but I'm going to do the worm again.
There was a tattoo artist at Mookie's party. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why I don't know if Mookie made sure there was a guy there, because these guys were talking about it when they were saying, when we won the World Series, we're going to get these tattoos. And, so I don't know if Mookie was making sure that they were there to be like, hey, you guys got to hold true on your promise. But, yeah, they got it done, and we were all there to see it.
Epic. Did anyone else get tattoos, or they just had a guy there for Kirby?
There was more tattoos, yes.
Nice. Okay. Some type
Wait, do you have any tattoos? Do you have any?
No, I don't have any tattoos. I can't do needles, so I can't do that.
Okay. Did you see, where was Freddie? Where did Freddie do his second worm? He did it at the party, and then the second one at the
that
wedding.
That was at Gavin Lux's wedding.
Were you at the wedding?
No, I was not at the wedding. My wife, one of her best friends, was getting married at the same time, and so we were always going to that one first. We told Luxy, hey, sorry, bud, but this is one of my wife's longtime friends, so we were going to be at that one.
Okay, because I just wanted to know, were you pushing Freddie to do the worm? Because remember the first time he did it, and the second time he's like, no, I don't really, if you guys must make me,
I think with that, it depends on how much fun Freddie's been having at the party.
True.
Okay.
Exactly. It was a wedding, so I'm sure he was having a great time.
Are you a good gift giver? Do you have a certain gift that you give at a wedding? Because I feel like if you have this aura about you as a big leaguer, World Series champion, you got to be a good gift giver.
You know what's great about weddings is they have this thing called the wedding registry, and you can just find out what they really want.
Unless you go on Scott's. And then it's super awkward because his doesn't make any sense. It's cash for a rave, cash for other things at a rave. Cash
That's
for
normal.
purple sunglasses. Like, that's not a normal wedding registry.
Yes,
Well,
it
if
is.
that's what he wanted, that's probably what he would get then.
Exactly. What? Because you don't like collecting random dishes that nobody uses in the living room or something like that? Sorry about it. It doesn't make any sense
I
to
sent
me.
dishes.
Hey, I'll tell you
Wait.
what, those random dishes come in handy for the holidays.
Yeah, or if you want to put your World Series title over them. But also, I mean, last thing, I always get yelled at for having too much stuff in the studio with AJ, and then he wants me to put things on a registry. It's like, what do you want? You want me to collect stuff or get rid of stuff? I can't do both. Anyway.
You can do both.
Yeah, you can collect
I
some.
mean, see, in your situation, what you do is collect the most stuff that would annoy AJ, and then that's what you go with.
Okay, that is my new idea. An FT registry. So we can get things
Max,
in the studio.
I have a room full of shit from Scott that he will not get rid of. Like, he has like the most random 2000s Mets player bobblehead. Like, name the most random Mets 2000s bobblehead. He's got 6 of them sitting. Yeah, he's got 6 of them sitting in my room, and I'm like, Scott.
Roger,
See, that sounds like you're just mad that none of them are yours. Then
I got plenty of my own. I got plenty of my own.
Max, you'll see
Okay.
one day long from now, you'll be in like the digital space podcast world doing a show, and they send you all kinds of stuff, and AJ doesn't want to keep half of it, so you'll be able to give it out to your friends. But it's a good little perk.
I'm gonna have to put a block on AJ's name to not have gifts show up to my house.
Seriously, that's what
In fact,
happens.
I don't know what he's going to be sending me.
Trust me, I get random. But okay, I know we got to go. But have you ever gotten random stuff sent to you in the mail? Because I get like once a year, I'll get something random and I don't know who it's from. So it's happened to me the last like 4 years where like somebody will just send me something and they don't sign it, and they're not like things you want to display. They're like the things you would get at Spencer Gifts, or people that remember Spencer Gifts. Like, I mean, remember the ball thing, Scott, I had? Like, someone sent it to me. I didn't know who it was from. One year I got a chocolate giant male organ, right?
When he says ball
to
thing
me.
too, he means like Justin Turner.
Yes, the Justin Turner thing that he had. Someone
That just
sent me
randomly came in the mail.
Like, yes, and I don't know who sent it to me. And then a couple years ago, I got like a chocolate one of those things. I don't know. No, and they don't sign it. And then I have to play the guessing game. Oh, who sent this to me? So then I'm texting people like, did you do this? And then when you finally figure it out, years later, they're like, you finally figured it out.
Yeah, it's a joke. That's the whole point of it. You don't need to know who it's from.
Exactly. You're getting random magic gifts. All right, Max. On that note, good to see you, dude. Enjoy wedding season, the holidays, the whole thing. Congrats on the option being picked back up. Great to see you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys, as always.
Thank you. This was fun. Max Muncy, the Dodgers, with us. I have a unique holiday gift idea. It is called Superpower because Kratz, they care about you. It's a very unique health platform. It's new, and it finally gets you the answers that you need about what's really happening inside your body and what to do about it.
I got the answers. I'm on the journey of what to do about it. Why would I not want to give it to one of my loved ones in my life?
Give your loved ones something that actually lasts. That's right, Kratz. Better health and more time with you. If you go to superpower.com/gift, you get a free $49 premium gift box with your gifted membership. After you sign up, they'll ask you how you heard about them. Please mention FT to support the show. One simple lab test measures 100 plus biomarkers. We're talking hormones, vitamins, minerals, and so much more. You'll get a full health report and a personalized action plan built by clinicians, including nutrition, supplement, and lifestyle guidance. Get after it, FT fam. Let's do a few minutes of rumors right now. Let's start with the Kansas City Royals, who apparently are open to potentially shopping some pitching. So JJ Piccolo told the Boston Globe when asked if anyone in the rotation was excluded from a potential deal, he said, I wouldn't say anyone is off limits. There would have to be a really big return for one starter in particular, but basically you're seeing that the Royals could trade a pitcher for something like an outfielder. The Royals definitely still have work to do with their lineup. There are some promising parts of it, as we know. Bobby Witt Jr. and maybe Jack Haggs has a little breakout. Michael Garcia certainly did this past season. He also added that the Royals would prefer to retain Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha after both remained with the club beyond their initial deals. So some people are turning to guys like Chris Bubich or even Cole Ragans. Maybe one of them will be available. Ragans had kind of a lost year compared to what he did the year prior. He was hurt. Let me bring up this one other tweet and then we'll get your thoughts. So Mike Petriello put this out there, and I do think it's a good point about the state of their rotation. He goes, I keep seeing KC going to trade starting pitching for outfielder. I'm having a tough time with that. Wacha, Lugo, both mid-30s. Lugo was not good this past season. Noah Cameron is useful, but has, quote, going to take a step back written all over him. Bubich, Ragans had injuries. Can they afford a starting pitching trade? So, AJ, what do you think?
I mean, I'll just echo what Mike just said, like Petriello. I mean, this was exactly what I was going to say before we showed this tweet. Is can they afford to trade Ragans? Can they afford to trade Bubich? Lugo and Wacha are in their mid-30s, and then you have Noah Cameron, who had a nice year, but can he do it again? And so I don't know if they can afford it. Can they find? Why don't they just go out and do what they did before and try to find those fringy, really good players, but not the superstar players, and have them come in for a year or two and do what they do? Because they already have Salvi, great player, probably going to the Hall of Fame. You have Bobby Witt. You have Michael Garcia. You have Caglione, you hope takes the next step. You have the Pasquatch, Vinny Pasquantino, right? You have Michael Massey, who you hope has a bounce back year, doesn't get injured in spring training and miss first month and a half and try to play catch up. I think they have the core of a team that can be decent. Can they go add to it and make it take the next level? That's the question. Why do you have to trade? Go out and spend some money. They have money. It's not like they spent all their money and threw it all out. They have money. Go find those guys that are a Harrison Bader type that can cover all of center field for you, right? Or someone like that you hope has a great year, and then everyone else has their normal year. Some guys have bounce back years. Boom, you're right back where you were 2 years ago in the playoffs, and you have a chance.
I'm going to say no, they can't afford it. I mean, it was this year, last year at this time, they tried to upgrade their offense. They tried to upgrade their leadoff on-base percentage guy and go get Jonathan India. Didn't work out. They lost 32 starts from Brady Singer. I get it. Nobody's, everyone's like, well, his strikeout rate isn't that great and stuff. So he's just more of a contact guy. Like, for me, being with the Royals when we were successful, it was all because of defense and pitchers who threw strikes. Brady Singer's out there for 32 starts. Does he punch out the world? No. In Kansas City, where he makes half his starts, you don't need to punch out the world. So to me, getting rid of another starter, that's 2 in 2 years. I get it. Reagan's only had 13 starts, but this is a guy who I think only had 60-some innings, and he almost had 100 strikeouts. So I don't see them being able to afford getting rid of him unless you are talking about a mega aircraft carrier outfielder that's going to step in and really change this lineup. Are they going to trade with the Minnesota Twins for Byron Buxton? Are they going to take on this mega outfielder type of contract that would make up for losing Ragans and what he could do if he has another Cy Young, I think he was 4th in the Cy Young 2 years ago, type of year? I don't think they can afford it.
Okay, well, you brought it up. I'll make the easy transition right now. Let's just go right to Buxton for our next little rumor thing. We can bring up Steven from Hammer Territory's tweet. Very interesting note he said from Jeff Passan this morning, reporting that Byron Buxton is willing to waive his no trade clause for Atlanta, among other places. And he's from Georgia, so that makes some sense. People have pointed to him there. And remember, not so long ago, he said he was not going to waive his no trade clause. Then the Twins decided they weren't going to sell, and the owners weren't going to sell. Instead, they were going to sell half the team. And all of a sudden, there could be some second thoughts here. So the article from Passan says, willing to waive his no trade clause, not just for Atlanta, would put them in an interesting position. So yeah, maybe Kansas City for Byron Buxton. That would be cool. Again, he's got to approve anything, AJ, but I mean, that would be a big Sure, somewhat risky move because of the injury history, but if you get the version of Buxton from this past season, that's an impact.
True, but he's not going to Kansas City. They're not going to want to trade him inside the division. Not happening. So it's cool, Scott, that you come up with these crazy ideas that are never going to happen. I like it.
That was Kratz's idea.
That was my idea.
Kratz, Scott, both you guys. Crazy ideas that are never going to happen. I like it. But I will say this. Atlanta? What? You pair him with Michael Harris and Ronald Acuna and Albies and Riley and Murphy and Baldwin and Olsen? You got something. You got something brewing, Atlanta. And you throw in Pablo Lopez just for fun? Why not? I mean, if we're going crazy, let's get crazy here. So, and they can just send Sean Murphy back to the Twins, and they get Murphy and the Twins say, "Hey, we got a catcher." So I don't know, but let's get crazy. No, I love this. Byron Buxton, if he can stay healthy anywhere he goes, this was like the Dylan Cease rumors, the Sonny Gray to Atlanta, because there's so many people that grew up Braves fans, me included, because of Superstation TBS. And that was where every kid in the South grew up watching the team, because there was no Rays, there was no Marlins, there was nothing except for the Atlanta Braves. And we all wanted to play there. I got to do it. And if you get the opportunity to do it, it was a great organization. And it's not going to happen because I think Byron Buxton is going to stay there. And I commend him for that. But, I mean, I think he would waive his no-trade clause if it came to that.
I think there is one thing that Scott said was, if he stays healthy. Like, are teams willing to take that risk? Of the teams that are willing to spend $15 million on an outfielder and the teams that are willing to give up prospects for it, all of them are willing to take the risk. Even if you get one good year out of the three, like there's, he keeps having injury concerns and all this stuff. If you get one good year, he is a organizational season-changing type of player. Every team that has a chance should be in on Byron Buxton.
And I will agree with you that if you get one good year out of the three, the rest of the contract is worth it. He's not getting paid a ton of money in Major League Baseball standards. He's not.
15 a year. 15 a year.
One season that he puts together like that is worth in today's game $50 million. It is. That's how it's looked at.
You insert that into a lineup. You insert that defense into your starting rotation. I mean, I get it. Like every team would want that. There's not a team that's sitting there going, Like, think about the Blue Jays. They have Dalton Varsho in center field, Platinum Glove winner. How good would he be in left field with the added power and defense that would add with Buxton in center field? You talk about the Phillies. Obviously, they have center field options open. You talk about the Yankees. They wouldn't have to sign Cody Bellinger for as much as they're going to sign Cody Bellinger or take a guess on if Dominguez is going to play well. Every team would want Byron Buxton, even with the, quote, injury risk.
Hey, let's get to one more here in spreading rumors. What about Willson Contreras for teams now that the Cardinals have kind of declared that it is sell mode for some of these vets?
Where? Give me a team.
There are teams that can use a first baseman.
Give me a team. Give me a team, Kevin Kiermaier.
What?
Why am I Kevin Kiermaier?
I know.
What team? Because he came out and said teams have called, and I want to know what team. So what team, Scott? Come on, follow along, Scott. Keep up.
Okay, hold on. And then we'll show Katie's tweets. What about the Mets if they don't bring back Pete Alonso?
Well, I mean, if they don't bring back Pete Alonso, here's my question.
Hold on, I've got more for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Red Sox. We don't know what Tristan Casas is going to look like. Okay, you're going to keep relying on him? He hasn't been healthy for them.
Okay, keep going. So far, you named two teams that might have a position for him.
The Yankees don't have a first baseman.
They do. His name's Ben Rice because he's not a catcher.
What about the Washington Nationals?
Willson Contreras is not waiving his no trade to go to the Washington Nationals.
New regime. They're into winning now.
Yeah, he's too old. He's older. He's older than the manager, the hitting coach, the pitching coach, and the GM combined.
There's probably 5 to 7 teams. That's true. There's probably 5 to 7 teams that could use a first base upgrade. You don't think so?
Padres?
Okay.
Padres a good one.
Padres not
No?
going to happen. No. They
Right.
don't have the, they don't have the capital.
They
don't have the
here's
capital.
my question. Here's my question to you, AJ. Is he worth, let's say, I mean, the Cardinals have been into buying down these contracts. He's essentially making about 17 or 18 million. Is he worth 10 million a year for the next, let's see, that would be 2 seasons. If somebody buys down basically half of what he's going to get in 26 and 27, is he worth that?
Yeah, if you want to give up the prospect capital, which everyone knows in baseball today, prospect capital is worth more than the actual dollars that you're paying a player, according to some GMs and some front offices. So if for $10 million a year, I mean, listen, his last 3 years, we'll go, since he went to St. Louis, he got 826 OPS, 848, 791, 123 OPS plus, 138 OPS plus, 123 OPS plus. As a first baseman / catcher, we all know he's not a catcher, so he's a first baseman / DH. Are those numbers that you can say for $10 million a year? Absolutely. Are you willing to pay the prospect capital to get him down to $10 million a year? That's a question every GM and front office has to ask. But I will say this. Mets, if they don't sign Contreras, he'd fit nicely. Red Sox, as you said, Scott, if they don't figure out what to do with Casas, I feel like they're going to give him another year and see what happens. Yes, he'd fit nicely.
Yeah.
Other than that, where do we go? Where do we go? And he has a full no trade, so he's going to want to go to a team that's going to win. He's not going to the Dodgers,
Brewers?
Padres, possible Brewers. Would he go to the Brewers though with his brother?
Yeah, I think he would love
You
to
think?
play with his bro. Here's my thing with this, and we'll
But
show
do you
the Katie
think?
Wood
But the
tweet so we
Brewers
can
aren't
set it
going
up.
to do that, Scott. The Brewers aren't going to do that. They're not.
Why? Because he's getting paid.
Because
If
they're
they get
not
him to
gonna-
buy money down,
And they're not going to want to give up the prospects that it's going to take to get him to buy the money down.
I don't know. I think they would give up the prospects also. I don't know how much he's going to command. I think that the Cardinals are super motivated to move Gray, which they just did. Arenado, which I think is going to be very difficult at this point. They might just have to do a buyout there. And then Contreras, who is a tradable asset. But I think the key for the Cardinals right now is they do want to clear some money and they truly want to get the youth movement and the rebuild going. So I think they're pretty motivated as long as Wilson's into it. Let's show the Katie tweets just to give more context here of why we're bringing it up now. Because you got to remember that the Cardinals didn't have the okay from these guys, about a year ago, or at least not a very firm okay when they spoke to them after not making the playoffs in 2024. It sounded like Contreras, Gray, both said no, and Arenado was very picky and didn't end up getting moved. So Katie said, Contreras is open to trade offers and has become more willing to waive that no trade clause over the last few weeks. And so she wrote an article about how that fits into the picture for what they're doing heading into the winter meetings. And then the follow-up tweet from Katie said, this will not necessarily change the team's order of operations, but they're open to shopping Contreras. The top priority again remains trading Nolan Arenado and one of their lefty hitters with Lars Nootbaar along with Brendan Donovan continuing to gauge interest from rival clubs. I think they're going to be pretty motivated to try and trade Willson Contreras. I mean, what do we got there? The next Cardinals playoff team probably doesn't have Contreras under contract, right, AJ?
No. But what? I mean, listen, the Cardinals have a bunch of the same guys. They've got to mix it up. Nootbaar, Donovan, all those guys. They're all like lefty hitters that are pretty good, but haven't proved a whole lot yet. I mean, there's Ferguson, Burleson. Sorry, and they got to make some decisions. That's why they got Chaim Bloom in there to make these tough decisions. And I feel so bad for Chaim Bloom. I can't wait to get him on in the winter meetings because Chaim's coming on with us. That he goes to Boston. I got to trade Mookie Betts. Oh no. And then he goes to St. Louis. He's like, I got to trade Sonny Gray. I got to trade Willson Contreras. And I got to try to trade Arenado. Like, what did this guy do along the way to make himself have such a tough road to hoe? Can he just get a job where they're like, spend money, Chaim, and make the team great again? I don't understand, but no, he keeps getting stuck in these situations and he loves it. He's really good at it, but they got to do something in St. Louis because one, the fans weren't back there, and two, the team is stale. And I love Ollie Marmol. He's also going to come on the show, the winter meetings, but you got to do something to mix it up and change whatever the mojo, the flow, whatever you want to call it, the chemistry or the whatever, they all call it something. but you gotta just blow it up and start over. I'm sorry.
That's what he's trying to do. And Nolan
I
Gorman
know,
fits
but
that
why
mold
is it always
too.
Chaim
Another
Bloom that
lefty
gets
bat
stuck?
there.
But why does Chaim Bloom always
That's
get
his
stuck with
specialty,
this?
dude. Because he came from the Rays and he did it really well with Boston. And now the Cardinals are hoping that he can do the same thing. The Cardinals would love to
He
be
can.
in Boston's position in 2 years.
You can. I'll say this: Chaim Bloom, I trust him. I trust in Chaim Bloom.
So wait, let's get back to the root of this. I'll start with Kratz here. Do you think that Willson Contreras gets traded this offseason? I actually think there's a good chance he does. You don't?
I don't. I don't. I just think people see the first base position as a position that they can fill. They can fill with a left fielder. Hey, we'll play first when catching. When you're not catching, we can. It feels like teams use first base for not what it's actually meant for. Like it's actually an important position that your 3 infielders throw to all the time. That is a premium corner position. They see it as somebody who, if I'm going to spend money like Willson Contreras is making, I want to see 30 home runs. And I don't think he has that. So I don't think he gets moved. I don't.
He's a very good offensive player. And my thing, AJ, is I do think that his reputation can be questioned sometimes because he's a hothead on the field. And that'll at least turn off some teams that don't know him well. I think that actually makes no, you don't think that matters at all? I think teams use that against a team when they're negotiating, though, to try to trade for him.
Trust me, as someone that went through it as a free agent, I understand that. But if they want a player bad enough, they'll do it.
Okay. Do you think he gets traded this offseason?
No, I think it's trade deadline.
Oh, okay.
I was very surprised that the Cardinals paid so much for him to be a catcher. I was very surprised, and it showed a lot to me about their evaluation and internal metrics of because he played against them all the time. He was in their division. That you could see what he was bringing to the field. So that I was very surprised about. So I guess I'd be very surprised if he gets traded somewhere without a lot of that money getting eaten. And I don't think the Cardinals can eat all of Arenado's, so much, 21 million of Sonny Gray's, and then probably another 20 of the next 2 years of Willson Contreras.
Why not? Why couldn't they do that? The money doesn't all get eaten in one shot, right? You pay it per year. So for them, they'd actually be trimming payroll. They wouldn't be adding, right? I mean, for as much as they're paying Sonny Gray, it's still half of what they would have been paying Sonny Gray.
Yes.
I look at it the other way. I think they're looking to get rid of these guys, and now's the chance. Like for me, guys, Willson Contreras still can rake, right? He's still a very good above average hitter, borderline, right? What was he this year? 124, I think, OPS plus this year.
Where
He's still a very good hitter.
Where does that compare to other first baseman? It's like saying, this catcher was only a league average hitting catcher, but compared to other catchers, if you're at league average, you're an above average hitting catcher. So where does his 128, where does it rank compared to other first basemen in the league is my question. And then you're saying, okay, he's right-handed. Now we've locked up our first base position. I get it. He could be, if there's teams that are really into Pete Alonso, hey, you know what? We'll take the money we saved. We'll put a little bit into Willson Contreras, and it'll be a serviceable player at that position.
I mean, I think like you
Contreras
said,
was third. Contreras was third in OPS, by the way, just FYI.
At first base.
Well, I don't. That's what it said.
Okay,
hold on. Nick Kurtz was the OPS. Nick Kurtz was first in the American League. Anyways, yeah, okay. Nick Kurtz was the best.
All right. Well, anyway, anyone else watching right now, comment, let us know your thoughts. I think it's a tradable asset. I think now would be the time to do it. Cardinals clearly trying to turn a page and do a little mini rebuild. That's what Chaim Bloom is up to right now. So I think they're going to aggressively shop him.
It was 12th
in OPS.
Alonso was 1, Freddie 2, Michael Busch, Matt Olson, Vlad, Harper, Rice, Naylor, O'Hearn, Burleson on the same team, by the way. Pasquantino, Contreras, 12th.
So about middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
for a starter.
Goldschmidt 731, FYI.
Yeah. Okay. We shall see. All right. Let's hit a quickie break. Hey, we can get into this a little bit. We're supposed to talk to FP Santangelo. If we don't today, we'll get him on a different day. But the Giants for the NL Pennant right now are plus 2,000, 20 to 1. It's so crazy when you see this because I'm pretty sure that heading into this season or this past season, the Blue Jays were, I think, plus 6,000. Does that sound right, Kratz?
I don't know. I didn't remember seeing it.
I think they were 60 to 1. But anyway, for the Giants, they're 20 to 1 odds right now to win the National League. And yeah, we're going to get FP on a different day this week. We're going to reschedule it with him. He's overseas. Yeah, I know you don't like it, AJ. We'll talk about this report with FP when we get him on at some point this week. But I'm still shocked at the story here about the Giants, not really interested in playing in the big kids pool that much this season because they feel like they already did that with Adames and with Devers. I mean, they are not a mid-level signing or two away. Don't they need more help than that?
Yes, they need more.
Okay.
Bailey had a down year. Some of the other guys that were counting on had a down year. They're going to need somebody to step up. I mean, Chapman wasn't great for him. Adames ended up where he's been about his whole career. I mean, Logan Webb has been really good for him. Robbie Ray. They have pitching. They can figure out their bullpen. But they need people to take the next step. Is Eldridge the guy? Do they think Bryce Eldridge is the guy? Maybe.
Yeah, they hope so. But, I mean, I think it's a pretty big problem for the Giants that, they're not necessarily going to do much in terms of spending this offseason. So the article in The Athletic says that they could lavish $60 million on the 2026 roster and still reside comfortably beneath the initial, that first tax threshold, that first little light salary cap marker of $244 million. But their cash basis payroll commitments include $17 million in deferred signing bonus money owed to Blake Snell in January. I'm like, whatever. That to me, I get it. It's on your books right now, but that's what we're blaming for this shit. And then they also said that they're spending $10.5 million on the manager position next season because you have the Bob Melvin $4 million I guess essentially buyout plus the $3 million buyout they paid for Tony Vitello. Cry me a fucking river. That's what we're worried about here.
Wait, what did Vitello get? How much did Vitello get?
3.5-ish, but they had to do the buyout for him to get out of Tennessee for 3, I guess.
Come on, bro.
That's what we're worried about here?
You're the Giants. Have you ever been to a Giants game? They sell out every game. Kratz, did you play? I played for the Giants. You played for the Giants. When they're good, they're the greatest. And they have Kipe and Kruko as their freaking announcers, and everyone tunes into their games. And don't tell me because the manager got fired they can't afford players. Stop.
Attendance is up. Posey's done a good job. The whole problem with them with the last regime was that nobody even knew who the guys were. Everything was so vanilla. There wasn't star power. Posey makes 2 moves and attendance skyrockets for them. Now, you didn't see great results on the field. You see okay results on the field. But that's why, to me, the story was so shocking because you had little rumblings that the Giants might be interested in a guy like Amai, and then this story just absolutely shot it dead. They are not playing in those waters at all. And it also went into how the Giants have made attempts to get some recent Japanese stars, and they've come up empty, right?
They had Arson Judge, though. They had Arson Judge.
They did almost have – that's true. Almost have Arson Judge, but they've gone over – these are some of the guys that they've gone after in recent years. Now, how hard and how deep into the process, I don't know, but Otani Yamamoto, Kodai Senga, Seiya Suzuki, Roki Sasaki. Here's the real stinger in the article. It's been over a decade since the last born and raised Japanese player they employed, left fielder Nori Aoki in 2015, was on the team. And embarrassingly, it's been much longer since a Japanese player spent multiple seasons in a Giants uniform. It was left-hander Monosuri Murakami. And you're like, wait, why Why don't I know that name? Because he was the pioneering reliever who became the first Japanese major leaguer when he pitched for the team in 1964. 64 and
Had
65.
Shinjo? Didn't they have Shinjo?
For one season, probably. They said
Oh.
multiple years. Multiple years. They haven't had someone since the 60s. It's kind of surprising, right? Like you talk about how
Agreed.
the Japanese players want to be on the West Coast, a little closer to home, whatever. Seattle at one point was a hotbed. Now the Dodgers are a hotbed. The fact that the Giants haven't been able to create that, and this, in my mind, AJ, is the offseason to strike. This is the offseason to do that.
Yes.
You've got
Amai
multiple
just
guys
said he hates the
available.
Dodgers. Amai just said he
Yes.
hates the Dodgers. Go sign him. He just said he wants to kill the Dodgers.
That should be your dream player. Like they must be.
Yes.
I mean, there's two things, Kratz. Either their internal metrics don't like him, which I find hard to believe, or they're getting orders that they've already done their heavy damage and they can't dip in those waters. Amai's going to cost a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. He's probably going to be $2 to $250, something like that.
I don't know. Just don't come out and say this. Because the fact that the fans are starting to come out, it's kind of a slap in the face. So to me, if you're not going to dip into those waters, you're not going to go and get that guy. It's tough to get that guy on the offense in San Francisco that's going to push you over the line. So you might as well get that guy on the mound that's going to push you over the line, get you to where your fans are coming out, because they know they're not watching Buster Posey on the field. They're out there supporting their team. Like they want to be out supporting a team. They don't want to come out to a 500 team, because essentially right now, without any upgrades, you're telling your fan base, we're fine. We just need to see the players that we have, like, just do better, and then we'll make the playoffs. No, you push it over the line with another signing. Like, look, like you saved money. You saved money. The last regime did a good job of just doing 1-year deals and trying to piecemeal your platoon group together. Like it was boring baseball. So there was saved money there. Don't give me the like that's not even that's not even on your payroll. I get it. You have to pay that money to Blake Snell, to Bob Melvin, but the fans are coming out because they want to see a winner. You made the moves last year. You hoped what would happen this year, or this past year, didn't. Now push it over the line. And I think a signing like Amai would do that based on what I've seen of him.
And, Ken alluded to this too. It's been kind of a weird offseason, and this story makes it a lot weirder for the Giants. The one other factor in play here, there's some speculation that Buster Posey doesn't necessarily want to sign Scott Boras clients. Buster, you're going to have to engage with every agent. Now, wait, there's more to this, okay? There's two things in here. One is, the story talks about how, like, Buster is, like, pretty adamant that he doesn't like opt-outs. And a lot of Boras clients have opt-outs. I mean, plenty of other players have opt-outs too, but okay. And then the other part here is someone who's been on our show before, and he won't come on anymore because now he works for the team again, calling him out, but it's true. Jeff Berry, who used to be an agent, and that was a guy who was a rival of him. So I'm like, the Giants have signed 2 players that were with Jeff Berry's old agency. There's always those kind of games going on. You know about that stuff, Kratz. Some people love this guy, they don't love this guy, and they try and make deals to make that happen. You can't just sidestep the agent that reps a ton of the big stars in the sport. So I'm not necessarily buying that, but the story did speculate there and say that Jeff is an advisor in the team. So is that holding the Giants back from some of the biggest players on the market?
Let's speculation. I want to hear it out of their mouth, because Buster Posey.
They're not going to say that. You can't say that. Oh, hey, we're going to skip a lot of the best players on the market because the advisor was with a different agency.
I agree, but do your read so that we can get to AJ, because we always need AJ.
Okay.
AJ
I was
needs
just chatting and sorry, I don't
say
know.
it again. No, this is like back before.
Let me do my read real quick,
God,
and then we'll bring you on.
For 5 seconds.
He's got to do his read,
yeah.
AJ.
I got to do my
Zip
read.
it. He's doing the read.
Give me a sec. Ready? BetMGM players will receive an Any Sport Parlay Boost token, and use that. Add a parlay wager made up of entirely any sport wagers to your bet slip. Activate the token. If you win your wager made with the token, you get extra winnings. It's that simple. BetMGM.com or the app. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And let's finish the show on a very strong note. Okay, AJ, take it away. Intro time.
Look at
We got
Bug.
You got to
What's up,
say it,
man?
though, because half the crowd's just listening. AJ, who's sitting next to you? Tell everyone.
AJ can't hear
Not gonna
anything,
talk?
so I'll tell you. It's Gary
Oh,
Sheffield,
wait.
the Gary Sheffield, otherwise known as Bug. AJ has nothing in, so we never get to hear anything. But our street cred just went way up because Chef is on the show.
Chef, good to see you, man. How you doing?
I see you. I just popped my head in Grove and I ran into AJ. I was in there shopping.
You can't hide these days, Chef. Basically,
Can't
if you're at a
hide,
fun
man.
event and you turn, you might see AJ with a mic and then get caught.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, how's the offseason going for you? I mean, obviously,
it's-
watching all the trades and signings going on. Any observations so far?
Schwarber, I just told, they talk about the Phillies, going back to the Phillies. I just think that he's the perfect fit for the Mets. And that's where I have him.
Wow. Okay. Do
That's
you
the one
think?
to move.
Yeah, so we were going to get into this, and it's actually good to ask you and AJ, and maybe you can ask AJ after you answer. But there was like a story this past week in the New York Post about, maybe some of the Mets players aren't getting along. Like, Jeff McNeil and Lindor went at it again. Don't you think some of that is good for a team to shake it up a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, that tells me they're holding each other accountable. That's what it means to me. You're going to have teammates that don't get along. That's okay. But you have to have that enforcer to make sure that everybody has the one goal in mind, and that's to win. So outside of that, who cares?
Wait, to me, everybody needs an enforcer. But Chef, did you ever play? Who was that guy for you? Because some people will look at Chef and be like, including our EP, our executive producer, he's scared of Chef. He's scared of you. Okay, so who was the enforcer for you? Who was the guy that would make sure you didn't get out of line? Because you're not perfect. Not everybody's perfect. And somebody's got to be able to have the cojones to step up and say, whoa, Chef, who was that guy for you?
Every teammate. Every teammate get the same treatment. So if you talk to me, I get to, because it's that we all is one. We won. And when we go in the locker room, if somebody see that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, they should call me out, and vice versa. And I think that makes for a healthy team, because that way the manager can't see everything. The coaches can't see everything. You have to police each other.
Love that. Why do you think Schwarber is a good fit for the Mets over any other team?
Well, I just think that the amount of home runs he's hitting at the top of the lineup, I think he'll balance that lineup even better than Pete Alonso. I think, you have a guy hitting in the middle of the lineup, but the way the game is played nowadays, hitting deep in the lineup and turning that lineup over is the most important thing. And when you're hitting fourth and fifth, you're kind of irrelevant at that position. You need the 1, 2, and 3 guy to have all the juice in your lineup, because the way the game is played now, you just want to keep the lineup turning over so those guys can get back up there.
All right. Before we let you go, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
If with your waggle,
Uh-huh.
the way you waggled your bat, and
Yes.
it's an iconic stance of all stances.
Mhm.
Could you hit in today's game, guys throwing 100?
Absolutely. And me and my son was talking about this yesterday, and I told him velocity is easy to hit. That's the easiest part to hit. All the movement that they throw, and they talk about the spin and all of that. I'll have a lot of these these pitchers like Soto. He has a lot of these pitchers behind in the count. If you don't chase, then average pitching, because you have a lot of velocity, become below average. And so you can take the top pitcher right now, right, and say, who is this guy? And you'll say the guy from Detroit, the guy from Pittsburgh, and basically what you do is make those guys 2-pitch pitchers. All you have to do is make those guys 2-pitch pitchers, and the pitch that they'd like to put you away with, tell yourself, I'm not swinging at that pitch. I know what it looks like. I know what it does. I'm not even attempting to swing at that pitch, because you can't hit it. So you make them a 2-pitch pitcher. You bring them closer to you.
You're smart, by the way, about hitting. We've had a lot of conversations about hitting. Trust me, he knows hitting, and I love what he talks about.
I do too. I can sit and listen to it all day. We'll let you go on this, Chef. So it was an awesome World Series. I'm sure you enjoyed it. We haven't had you on since then. I haven't seen you since then. What were you talking to Justin Bieber about? We got a good shot of you and Bieber. That's an epic duo right there. And they were like, didn't they say like, oh, there's Bieber? And I was like, no, there's Chef.
Yeah. They noticed him at a baseball game and not me, but that's okay. I was doing a good deed. You know, he was a kid that he talked about. He had a newborn. I think it's about his kid is 1 year old. He was talking about that and how he wanted to get his life on the right track and get it the way it needs to be. And I told him, you know, it's not about your failures in life. It's about your redemption. And I think God has given you another chance through your kids. And so don't ruin it for them. And so that's basically what we talked about. It was all about the family, you know, Haley and his wife and his kid. It was all about them, you know, doing it for them. And he wants to do better.
That's really cool. That's good stuff. Yeah. Hey, Chef dishing out some fam advice to beat. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Hey, it went very viral. Well, Chef, good to see you, man. Keep giving AJ a hard time out there, and we'll see you in person soon. Will you be at the winter meetings, by the way? Will we see you there?
No, I'm going to Miami right now. I'm heading down there to a couple golf tournaments, Melbourne Golf and DJ Cali.
I ain't get no invite. I got no invite.
Well, they invited me at the last minute, so I said,
I got 500 homers though.
Yeah, so I told my wife, I said, I'm getting in the car and I'm gone. So I said, let me stop over the Grove and get something to eat and shop a little bit. And I ran into AJ, and here we are.
There you go. I love it. Well, have fun down there. All right. Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, AJ.
Thanks, buddy.
You're saying Francisco Lindor's relationship with Jeff McNeil and Juan Soto doomed the season, and then you click it, and I also think it's incredibly lazy, and like some other stuff I won't claim here, to be like, Juan Soto's a hardworking guy. Francisco Lindor, all he cares about is fashion. Makes it seem like Francisco Lindor is not really worried about what's going on the field. Makes it seem like Francisco Lindor, unlike Juan Soto, which is crazy, because the original witch hunt was Juan Soto not being motivated to come play for this team. Now it's Soto's the motivated one. Lindor worries about fashion. That's his big thing. And that feels so fucking lazy.
Especially when part of the thesis from the first part of this article was about Lindor being too intense about what was going on the field, letting a defensive lapse, his frustration boil over after that, and berating a teammate. So it's just kind of, you kind of lose the point in this. You kind of go back and forth in between what all this could have been.
It feels like it's been written at different times and it got put together.
Which is also possible. Like, that's also kind of it. And then again, I want to go back to Disha articles. There's great reporting in this article. We hope to have Disha on the show soon. Last year was winter meeting, so maybe we can make that annual thing. But Lindor talking about Soto here, he's completely different than how I was, talking about how he responded to his first season with the club. I tried to hug too much, and he has a good understanding of what he can hug and stay within that. He hasn't changed once, so he's definitely ahead of where I was and ahead of his age too. It's like understanding that these guys could possibly have they probably aren't best friends. I think we're pretty certain these two guys are not best friends.
Yeah, I'd be making bets that they are. I think realistically they are coworkers. I think they work on the same team together and they're trying to accomplish the same thing, which is win games for the New York Mets. There's also gets underscored a little bit too. There's a variety and difference in these guys too, just personally. Like Juan Soto's a 26-year-old, 27-year-old who just got $700 million. And we've known that he pretty much goes home and watches baseball. He's just baseball. He really doesn't do much. He has been out in the town recently, but he really isn't doing much during the season.
That's good stuff from Mark and James on Mets Up. They were talking about the article in the New York Post from Mike Puma about the Mets getting into it a little bit with Jeff McNeil and Francisco Lindor Part 2 this past season, mid-season. And then also the difference between Lindor and Soto. That one definitely sounds like quite a stretch here. Revealed, and remember, the New York Post does put flashy headlines out there. That's just part of their MO. So I wouldn't be that surprised about that part of it. If you know their themes, this is how they put titles out there. Lindor McNeil battled again, and Mets shortstop's chilly rapport with Soto helped doom 2025 season. I want to put a ... And David Stearns did not believe in buying big starters.
Listen,
That's it.
stop.
It's like
Stop it. Stop.
It's like AJ's favorite movie, Moneyball. They didn't say anything about Zito, Mulder, and Hudson. This article is salacious because they didn't talk about the fact that they went 43 straight games without a starter going past the fifth inning. Like, let's call a spade a spade. That's what doomed the season. And oh yeah, they were still one game out of making the playoffs. So if you don't think the Mets are going to be back next year and a playoff contending team, you're wrong, because they can't, never say this, but they can't be as bad starting pitching as they were this past year.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm gonna add one more thing to this. Where are the quotes from McNeil? Where are the quotes from Lindor? Do we have quotes from them in this article?
They're not going to talk about that, though. I'm going to push back.
All right. So then why not? But at least go to them and say, hey, Lindor just declined to comment, or McNeil declined to comment, or Soto declined to comment, because we showed the tweets of a guy who once wrote an article about me without asking me. His name's Andrew Baggerly. Why not ask the guy? Why not go up to the player and say, hey, I'm hearing this about you. Before I write this article, let let yourself defend you. But instead they want to get the headlines. And I don't care about this. I honestly don't care about this. And listen, Chef just came on and Chef said, what happens? We won the World Series in 2005, and it wasn't all roses and, petals and everything, whatever you want to say, butterflies and happiness. I mean, there was arguments, but amongst players, hell, we tried to kick off DeMarco Marte. Well, not us, but Ozzie Guillen kicked off DeMarco Marte in the middle of the season. And then the players were like, hey, we kind of need him. Can we bring him back? And he's like, well, yeah, okay. But anyways, it's not like, so this is a non-story. To me, here's the thing and this is one of the reasons why I respect Ken and so many reporters out there. Go to the player and ask the player. Ask Jeff McNeil. Call him. You can get his number. Call Francisco Lindor. Call Juan Soto and say, hey, man, before I write this article, I want to talk to you. If you don't do it, to me, the story's null and void. But that's the way reporters work, certain ones. And if you don't do it the right way, to me, it's null and void.
We're getting close to the end of the show, so I want to get to this part too for What's the Beef. Did you guys see the Brandon Nimmo comments when he was in his intro virtual presser kind of thing? I felt like he got a little subtle shot out there. Nimmo is very, very media savvy. He's a very nice guy. He's always available, whatever. So I thought this was cute. This was clever. Let's run this.
The pitching is really the first thing that you need to have. And some guys like to call it run prevention. And when you combine the pitching with the defense, and what I saw was that is already there, and you're not losing a lot of pieces of that. And I think that that's something that CY really prides himself on. And
that's good. So for context here, when David Stearns, the Mets president of baseball ops, had his press conference after the season talking about what went wrong, he said the words run prevention a billion times, which to me and to many on social media is cringe. Let's just say pitching and defense, the run prevention thing. You want to say it sometimes, okay, but over and over again. AJ, that was Nimmo taking a shot at his former team. Your run prevention sucked, and that's why I got a phone call and asked to waive my no trade clause and move on to a team that has run prevention and also is going to make me millions of dollars more since I'm moving to Texas with no state income tax on my contract.
Yes, exactly. And I like it. He don't play for the Mets anymore. Take your shots. Take your shot, boys. He's not going back to the Mets anytime soon. He's got a long-term deal. They asked him to move his no trade. He did it. Good for you, Brandon Nimmo. And if you feel like it was a shot at you personally, fire back, dude. Fire away, boys. I love this.
Yeah.
We want more. We want more of this, and we're getting it. And then everyone's like, "Oh, why is he so bitter?" Screw that, man.
Yeah. Also, it's not like he wasn't the problem. Kratz,
no,
he had a good offensive season. He was fine.
He was great. That's why the Rangers wanted him. They didn't have offense. The Rangers are locked in on run prevention. Yeah, and they're gonna dog him. Oh, his defense has really declined and all that stuff. The Rangers need to hit the baseball. That is why they got him. So good for him. Talked to his boy DeGrom. Says it's awesome over here. Says you're going to save 14.2% on your every year's contract. So that'll be a few million back in your pockets.
Very nice. Yeah. Life's going to be good for Brendan Nimmo. And it never hurts to have an extra little chip on your shoulder. You get a phone call from the team you think you're going to basically retire with, and they're like, we're going to trade you. We want to switch things up. And you're like, me? Me? Of all the switching up you're going to do? But anyway, let's slap. All right, let's see Kratz Hatz, and then we'll show you one story on the way out here.
I mean, our boy Max Muncy, another epic time on the show. Like, he's always so good. So I found my Dodgers hat. I had to wear it for him. Dodger blue. World Series champ hats.
And Chef liked your Dodger hat. I go, he's got a Dodger hat on just for you. And he's like, he's a closet Dodger fan.
I've been called worse.
Chef's Hollywood. I mean, he's given Bieber advice. That was freaking epic right there.
Did you ask him about that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why I asked him, dude. I asked him. So I
couldn't hear what y'all were asking him.
I forgot. So I said, hey, I said World Series was lit, but like a little underrated story was you sitting next to Bieber for one of the games. And he told him, he was talking to him about, redemption and how to, be the best dad he could be, all that kind of stuff. It was really good. It was really cool. Well, trust me, that clip will get some play. That clip, you will see that clip on Twitter soon.
By the way, when we were talking about the Mets on certain Mets Instagram, Twitter, they're talking about Juan Soto. He looks jacked, dude. The season ended a month ago, bro. 2 months ago. You can't get jacked in 2 months, Kratz. Tell him. You can't just change your body in 2 months. Please explain this to people.
Not at this time. Not in this era of baseball. You cannot. There is no detox, warrior diet, nothing like that. So relax with that.
I sit in the gym hard. But yes, times have changed a little bit in that regard. Yeah, if you do some things that were done more frequently in the 90s and early 2000s, you can get jacked pretty quickly. I saw it in my high school. But anyway, all right, let's say bye. We've got I remember I'd work out with the football players. I'm like, how are they doing this? And then way after, this was my freshman year, someone whispered to me, it was like, that guy's on steroids. I was like, okay. Nice. But hey, kid, work out with the steroid guys.
Scott, who's on tomorrow?
Matt Boyd.
Who else?
Am I missing someone? Why? Do you know someone coming on tomorrow?
I'm going to see tomorrow if I can get a certain multiple-time Cy Young Award winner to join us.
Ooh. Are his initials MS?
And he has different colored eyes, yes.
Okay. I like that little teaser.
Randy Johnson.
See everyone then.
So, I mean, today was Chef and Brad Hand. Tomorrow could be someone else.
Get him. Do it.